All right, let's begin. So we gather. We gather, presumably, because something happens here with us all here. That's unlikely to happen when we're not all here. And even in just the sitting, knowing that we're sitting with people, with fellow practitioners, we start to notice something. Maybe it's that we start to notice our breath, or we start to feel and acknowledge that we are lively, conscious beings. So thank you for being here. Let's move into Barakanasana. Soles of feet together. And though we're on the ground, so pelvis predominantly on ground, you may find it beneficial to have just a little lip of blanket, just barely wedged under there. And that'll help the pelvis and stay slightly, helpfully tilted. We're working rounds of Uddiyana. Inhaling in and from the pelvis. So we feel that the pelvis breathes. We'll hold that breath for just a moment. Bring the hands forward. Swift, thorough exhalation. Remain empty. Draw belly in. Kind of suctioning, letting everything move or collapse, or what's the word, drawn in toward the spine, toward the heart. Releasing to breathe when necessary. Or back upright for a moment. Just slowly deepen breaths. We have some moments between these rounds. To help ourselves remember oxygen. Because in a sense, with this technique, we're momentarily depleting, or momentarily fasting. And there's a particular withoutness that seems to help us remember a pre-oxygen lifetime. The very primal goings, the very oceanic self. Let's do another. Inhale. Feeling that breath spread from the ground into the pelvis, into the low back, into the hip sockets. And here we pause, we'll hold. Bring the hands forward. Exhale, exhale everything out. And drawing in. Relaxing belly so there's no gasp when you choose to breathe. So if we're attuning to our cells, you'll feel there's not only activity, there's a quality of living that happens whether we're breathing or whether we're not breathing. We'll straighten the right leg out and we'll keep the left leg bent. We'll be working two poses, side bend and forward fold. Set the knees widely apart. Inhale, raise the left arm. You don't have to go for maximum stretch. So if something feels a little achy, back out a bit until it's no longer achy. However your hand is positioned, whether it's really soft or really active, feel through the entire width of your palm heel. Forward fold. So I'm bringing left hand down. You can place right hand on the right side of leg. And we'll all do this move. We'll all back out of the fold a little bit. It's like an inch or two. And as you're inhaling, sense the heart's lead. And maybe you can feel if the body moves with the heart, or if the body moves differently than the way the heart leads. We're playing as if the heart takes the lead here. Exhaling with the low belly muscles. So emptying more thoroughly. It's an echo of that Uddiyana from earlier. Letting the heart lead in this pose, breathing to feel where the heart is taking us. There needn't be so much pulling or directing. So we're truly attuning to our body. And inhaling, we'll walk the hands back. And we'll switch the cross of legs. We'll set the left leg out straightened. The right knee bent, and we'll begin with side bend. Placing the left hand down and drawing the right arm up and over. Again, if you have a little achiness around some tissues or back tissues, just edge out of it. Just using these moments to remember what consciousness feels like in a body. To remember what being a conscious body feels like. Forward fold. Inhaling, we'll bring that right hand down. Breathing in and from the heart, feel how it leads the pose. And I really hope that you can sense that it's possible. There's great difference when the heart leads or when the experience, the direct experience, is foregrounded as compared to kind of how we think about the pose, or what we expect from the pose, or what we hope the pose will do for us. So this is a true like moment to moment awareness. Maybe the heart leads in a way that's toward rest. Maybe the heart is leading us in a way toward expansion. Inhale, walk the hands back. We'll set up for Dolphin. So let's move to our elbows and our knees. And inhaling into and through the back of the heart. Exhale the knees off the ground. We enter these spaces, these practice spaces, containers, these pose containers. They're little moments of to remember. Helping the heart remember. Helping us remember what it feels like to have the heart lead and express. Using the low belly muscles. Getting slightly emptier of breath. Doesn't have to be dramatic, but leading ourselves toward that slightly emptier state. There's something so potent about the metaphor, I'll say the metaphor of fasting or doing momentarily without. It seems to help stoke remembrance. And by remembrance, I don't mean nostalgia. I mean the consciousness, the livingness that we've been at every stage of our life. It's expressed differently, it's felt differently. Now, taking the right leg, smoothly inhale, raise it up. Exhale. Feel to the sole of the foot. You're feeling in between the bones of the right foot. We'll set the right foot down. Inhaling, smoothly raise the left foot. And then we'll set that left foot down. We'll set the knees down. And then we'll lie on back, do a brief round of some things abdominal. And what I'll be kind of noting throughout, this is that smooth journey toward getting a little emptier. If we really track this breath emptying through the low belly area, the hara, right? It takes us quite deeply inward. It starts to situate us more resolutely in the depth of this lower abdomen, like in front of the sacrum and below the navel. There's a real power, there's a real potency to feeling, to attuning to how we're conscious here. To feel the livingness of this low belly area. So we'll start with the elbow to knee. And quite honestly, I don't really care or mind if you lift the head or you don't, you put a leg out or you don't, you use a wall or you don't. Just one. If you're pregnant, don't do this. Okay. And two, track where the belly takes you. Inhale, head and shoulders up. Exhale, reach the left leg out. Allow the tailbone to be moved by the low belly as you're drawing it down. So you're feeling that low belly find a more central place in that hara or that low belly space. Inhale. And practice breathing from that point in your low belly. The huge reason that the training of these will help us breathe from there. Exhale the right leg out, reach. Feeling the skin and the muscles as they draw down. It actually helps us locate a more interior, a central interior, the low belly. Draw down, so you're actually moving into this central interior, touching it. Inhale from that point. Let's continue. You know these well. I'll do about 4 more on each side with you. When we breathe from our nose, we can find out all sorts of great things about muscles and oxygen and mechanics. When we breathe from our low belly, we get an entirely different profile of information. To me, that pertains, my perception as it pertains to consciousness, that it pertains to the energy, the colorations of energy that moves and springs from that. So to breathe from the low belly may seem a rather non-rational or nonsensical notion, but you can do it. It does require some steadiness. Curiosity can help that steadiness. There you go. Stick with the low belly. Breathe from that low belly. Some days our low belly, we may just sense a rather surface region like the skin or the muscles. And some days, some chapters of our life, we may feel how that low belly, this movement, takes us really inside to the space of the abdomen. So once we arrive in this space of the abdomen, Not the top layer of skin, not just the back layer of spine, but the space of the body. We can feel, we can kind of revel in how alive it is in there. So the other abdominal we'll do is straddle. Straddle lifting through can be done as frog. So let's start with the legs skyward and then gently kind of draw them apart. Inhale the head and the shoulders off the ground, just helping that spine remember that curve, kind of embryonic curve. Exhale. Sensing those low belly muscles and letting the muscles take me into the space. Draw the low belly down. So you go in just a little further. Inhale from that point. From that low belly point. So this becomes a practice of breathing in and from the hara. Exhale. I use my low belly muscles, whatever I can find. Draw them in and down, and it takes me into the space of the abdomen. When I'm thoroughly empty, I can often move in a bit more just by some physical execution, pulling the belly muscles in a little more. And hopefully you start to get a sense of there's depth, there's space here. Breathe from there. And we'll do 5 more. If you're not interested in counting, we'll just do some more. And we'll regather later. When you're through, when you've set your head down, use hands to help bring the legs back together. We'll turn to a side, we'll press to standing. Inhale, draw the arms up. Exhale, fold. Letting the heart lead, the head and neck relax. Inhale the left foot back, lunge. Hands to ground. Exhale, step right foot back, lowering. With the weight on the hands, feel weight across the inner and the outer hand. Inhale, cobra. Again, the heart leads. Because when I rigidify, when I kind of thrust the chest out, there can be a lot of rigidity, kind of stultifies that quality of livingness. Hands under chest. Exhale, downward dog. Lunge, inhale, left foot forward. Without getting the chest rigid, right? Hands to ground. Exhale, the right foot forward. As I fold, the heart leads toward the feet, then the neck can relax from the heart. And then inhale. Again, I'm standing. Feel what that's like when the heart leads. Exhaling, hands to heart. Chair, inhale, bend knees. Reach arms up. Exhale, fold. Again, as I fold, the heart can lead toward the toes or the ground. Monkey, inhale. Using hands on the ground or the legs, you can move the chest away from the lap, gliding the shoulders down. Exhale, set the hands down, step the feet back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Cobra, if you need to address, wrists or back. Downward dog. Now, we'll remain in downward dog here, so let's kind of love up this pose a moment. So remembering our breath. And there's this wonderful part of our breath. It's that low belly, that exhalation. As that low belly is involved, you can feel how it helps bring on an awareness of this space of the body, this low belly space of the body. And you can feel how that space is alive, or you can feel how that space, maybe it feels kind of dense or uncertain. Or you can feel how that moves in relation to the heart. Inhale the right foot forward. Warrior two. Aligning the head over the pelvis. Using those low belly muscles, we just like those abdominals. Letting them move and express that breath out. And I'm just taking myself just a little bit toward that emptier of breath state. Slightly toward empty is wonderful prompt for remembrance. What are we remembering? Right? We're remembering that the consciousness of ourselves. We're remembering that there's something alive in us now that was alive in us then as a ball of cells. Triangle. Inhaling, let's straighten the right heel toe the left leg in a bit. This heel to midfoot alignment. Exhale, right hand reaches. Right side ribs lengthen. Can it really allow this creasy quality in the right hip to allow that pelvis to glide and fold over that thigh bone? Half moon, bend right knee. You might like a block. Right hand to ground. Left heel brought up to hip height. How do I keep remembering that consciousness? How do I keep remembering that? How do I keep uncovering that? And that may be what we're inquiring in our practice. How does that become a continuous felt sense, a lived reality? How is it I can go to the store and feel that I'm a conscious living being down to the cells of my person? Have the whole day and the whole rest of our lives to explore this. Inhale, set the left foot down, and we prepare for pigeon. Set the left knee down and place the side of the right leg down. We can walk to our hands or forearms. I think pigeon's a great place to feel that hara, that low belly. Work with that low belly. There's musculature, it moves, involve it. This is my perception. But in the nearing empty and those fasted moments, those slightly elongated exhales, those micro moments where we're anticipating breathing, but we just sustain and we're working. that energy of living can often get freed up. Like in those little ways, that energy, that life kind of gets bound, compartmentalized, stashed. When I'm willing to play in these emptiness moments, I can often feel how it begins to mobilize, and from where that stash has been kept. Inhale, the hands under the chest. Exhale, downward dog. Reach out through the littlest fingers, straightening the elbows. Inhale the left foot forward, warrior two. Let's use a few poses. We can already feel how that right side pelvis is a little different than the left. My perception. Low belly. Allow that movement to bring you in. This is one of those stances, I kind of went here on purpose. This is one of those stances where, it's kind of the ivory tower stance. We start to elevate, the elevator goes up, our head, our sense of body tends to go up and up and out. The stance is here for remembering our pelvis. As I move that low belly, it takes me not only from the pose and the muscles, but it takes me into the space of the body. Now, when I feel and I'm operating from the space of my body, again, my perception, very often all the muscles and more surface material parts of my body, they start to shift and change also. That's not uncommon. But I'm not approaching it from I'm going to change all of these muscles and tissues and relationships and stretches and pressures. If I locate myself in the space of the body, there's all sorts of magic that happens from that deeper place. And triangle. Inhale, we'll straighten that left leg. You may need to narrow your stance a little bit. Exhale, reach that left hand, left side, ribs lengthen. I'm allowing that left half of my pelvis to just kind of smoothly glide over that thigh bone. And I go left hand down, right arm up. Press into the left ball mount. Now these days, I'm just leaving my big toe pad down. I'm getting a lot of value from using the toe pad to articulate the foot and the ankle. And so the inner groin, I'm really pressing down through the big toe pad, the ball mount, using those quadriceps. Bend left knee as we set up for half moon. Inhale the left hand down, outside the foot, in front of the foot. And so pressing now through the big toe ball mount, the midfoot, the heel, as I lift the right heel up. Sometimes I'll leave the big toe pad down and I'll lift all the others just to ensure there's not grasping on the ground. That grasping really does a number on the foot structure over time. And inhale, set the right foot down to the ground as we set up for pigeon. Set the right knee down, and we'll set the side of the left leg down. And a lot of this is recognition. Where am I located right now? Am I attending to muscles? Am I attending to concepts? Am I attending to the space of my body? Do I discover that I'm on the inside of my person? Do I know, can I sense that I'm tracking with my experience, my bodily, my felt experience? That low belly motion, so simple, so profound, drawing that belly in, is a potent pathway into the space of the body. Right. Since we're so close to the left hip, let's simply sit onto the left hip if we're not already. We'll draw the right leg around and we'll take Shavasana. So please lie back. And if we attune to the space of the body here in this lying position, can you sense the quality of, there's maybe a motion, kind of an internal movement. It's authentic, it's undictated, it's unpredictable. It may feel like a dance, a spontaneous dance. For some of us, it may have a very organizing quality, like a quiet stream. For some of us, it may feel like white water. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side and press to seated. And maybe in the next amount of day, maybe we forget a little bit. But the beauty is we can always come back and we'll help each other remember. Namaste.